So here we are in part 2 of our trying to create two-color spot color printing type of stuff. And if you didn't watch part 1, you probably want to do that first because there's some key information about the way the document's set up and so on using our channels. But I'm just going to use this iStock photo and just drag and drop it over. Of course, I selected it first. Even though it was in color, because I'm dragging it in this direction, of course, it's creating it in grayscale because my document is gray, happens to have a couple of channels. Now, again, it's a little misleading because when you look at only the gray channel, it does in fact look like it's on there, but that's just because of the display of the layers palette. Well, here's the important difference with a photograph. With a shape, I was able to simply Command and Control click on it to load the selection and then go to my channel and choose fill. Well, of course, if I did that in this case, here's what would happen. I would load this as a selection, and if I chose fill, I just get a big yellow shape. I wouldn't get the actual photo. So here's what I have to do. You have to make the selection, copy it, hide it, click on the background layer. Now go to your channels palette. I'll click on the yellow channel and I'll paste. And again, you can't see it yet because it's not on here yet. So I have to also go to the gray channel and paste. And now, because of the way I did it, I'm getting a complete combination, like a duotone, of the two images. Now, or the two channels, I should say. And if that's what I want, that's fine. Now, where you can take it a whole little step further would be to get a little more specific. So, for example, if I went into this layer and said, for example, that I just want his hair, and I'll do this really quickly and badly, but just so you see the idea of what's possible to do here. Let's just feather that just a little bit. Okay. Now I'm just going to use a keyboard shortcut. Come with the Move tool selected, hold down the Command and Control key and just go up, down with your arrow key, and that makes that selection. Okay. So now what I'll do is go back to my channels palette and say, for example, in the gray, I want a little more black. So I'll use levels, move this over here, and darken this up. And you see how now it's getting more and more black. Or I can go the other way and say I want less black and more yellow. That looks much better. Okay, but you get the idea, basically, is how you can do that. So basically, sorry, that just cracked me up. It looks so natural, doesn't it? But again, for demonstration purposes only. So that's how you would deal with a photograph. So if you wanted the person to have the tie to be a certain color, it'd be a whole combination of making selections of those area and using levels, and ultimately looking at these channels. Now, once you're all finished, then basically you'd get to the point of, like in this case, I can't hide this layer because he's not visible, so I'd have to merge down, Command and Control E. Now I could throw away all these other layers because ultimately all I'm going to use are these two channels. Here's the black channel, which is the black ink. Here is the spot channel, which is what's going to print in yellow. Now obviously when you do this, what I would suggest the first time is just go through and experiment, kind of like I was doing here, but then once you've done that, you'll get a better sense of the order in which you should do things. Once you're all done, then if you're going to use this and put into some other software like InDesign or Quark Express, did I just say that? Oh, yes, I did. We're going to save as, and we're going to change it to, and you can't quite see it. It's actually at the very bottom of this menu. It's called Photoshop DCS 2, and that allows you to include the spot colors. My first spot. Save it, and then now this part in this dialog box, you should really talk to your printer. The printers I've worked with seems to they are happy when I choose multiple file with color composite. That means the composite one that I look at in InDesign looks like it's in color, but it includes the information they need for printing. So that part you would want to check with your printer, but then you end up with an image that will print using just those two color inks. Takes a bit of practice, but once you've done it the first time, here's what most people I've talked to found. The first time it took them a couple hours, the second time it took 20 minutes, because now you know kind of the approach you take. So there you have it, a quick overview of working with spot color. Now my example, I just used the two spot colors, but it is possible to use multiple spot colors if you want. Here's one that has 3 spot colors, including the ability to make, of course, the lovely purple hair. Okay, maybe you wouldn't want to do that, but hey, you get the idea. Just with a bit of work, you can make your life easier with using spot colors to save you money in your printing. I'm Dave Cross. I'll see you next time.